good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Lay Family Yarn Diaries. My name's Kelly and I'm here to chat about all my knitting today. It's only knitting today. I've no crochet or weaving or anything else, sewing. It's purely knitting, but I've got a lot of it. I've got a finished garment, a new garment on my needles, I've got socks, a shawl, loads of yarn to show you and different things. So it's going to be a busy one. How are you? Are you well? I hope your end of summer, early autumn is treating you well, or end of spring, early summer, depending on where you are in the world. I hope you're doing well. We are all well. We've been navigating the usual life's challenges over the last period of time, and you know, I'll chat about that maybe as we go along, but yeah, we're okay. We're finally finding some balance, and we've finally reached a point where we are scheduling in and prioritising self-care, which is really, really important, isn't it? It's vital. Yeah, I'm going to just jump in with the knitting. I've recorded this bit about 4 times and I've tried to edit, I've tried to be coherent, I've tried to articulate myself well, and I just can't. But as you know, we are sat around the kitchen table. The kitchen table this time is at work. We're at HQ and this is our work kitchen. So you've got all the usual tea, coffee, hot juice for me, box of tonic tea cakes, flowers from my friend. We just sat around the kitchen table as friends, aren't we? And as friends, we don't edit ourselves when we had a conversation, so I'm not going to with this. I'm just going to babble on, and here we go. If you would like to stay to the end, I've got a few bits to show you work-wise, yarn-wise, and I would really appreciate you sticking around if you would like to see. It's increasingly hard to be seen on Instagram and things. I'll talk about more of that later. So what we're going to talk about first. Well, last time we spoke, I had cast on a slip over, a tank top, a vest top for my mum in our Urban Fox colourway in the boucle yarn. It's a petite knit pattern, but I don't recall off the top of my head which one. I will link it in the description box below though. But I don't remember which one, but they're all similarly constructed. They're just varying yarn weights really, don't they? This is a petite knit too. I think this one is the Stockholm slip over, this one. But I finished it. I haven't blocked this. I'm not going to block it. It's for my mum for Christmas, and I'm not going to block it until she's tried it on, and then if it needs a bit of length adding, I can add the length. If it doesn't, I don't need to. But in terms of stitch definition and sorting out any lumpy bits, I don't think it needs blocking, so I'm not going to. I followed the pattern in its entirety, apart from the bind off, and I'm slightly regretful. No, I'm not now it's finished, but at the time I was, oh blimey, incredibly regretful. This boucle yarn is just amazing. It's got a texture and a feel like no other. It's so soft and so warm. It creates a really, dense is the wrong word because it's not a tight gauge. It's just, because it's so textural, the yarn, it closes all the gaps. There's no little holes between your stitches, and that in turn creates a really warm fabric, which for my mum is just perfect. You do have to be mindful if you're using this yarn on the sort of pattern you would use it for, because if you can see there, I've done like a 1x1 rib all around the armhole, the neckband, and you really can't see. There's no, I mean, you can see that there's a change in texture there, that's different stitch to the main body there, but you couldn't define the 1x1 stitch. So for something, I don't know, if you was cabling or putting any texture in the pattern, this wouldn't work at all, just wouldn't work. I alternated skeins as I always do. I'm really pleased with it. Now, if you've been here for a while, you will know that I have been favouring a Italian sewn bind off for some time now. I've been doing it on all my projects. It's certainly on this one. I've done it on everything for a long time. Tops of socks I even do it on now. I do it on everything actually. I love it. It is a labour of love. It's no, I shouldn't say that. It's essentially Kitchener stitch in the round, and I don't have a trouble with doing Kitchener stitch flat in the round otherwise, so I get into a real rhythm of it. It does take a bit of time, and because it's a sewn bind off, you have to have approximately, well, I do sort of I wrap my yarn 4 times around the circumference of the project, and that I know I'm safe then. I think really I could get away with doing it with 3 because I do have loads of excess. But I decided to do the same bind off with this one, and oh boy, it was a mistake. I did it for the neck and I did it for the arms. When it came to the body, I just did a traditional knitted bind off. Oh boy, because the boucle is so textural, I don't have any here to show you. I'm sure you've all seen it. It's really wrinkly and knobbly bobbly, but you can see from the fabric, can't you? But it's 100% merino. There's no nylon, and as such you can break it quite easily. Now, it's not like roving or plotalopi where you just have to blow on it and it snaps, but you can't really tug it through. And some of these knobbles and bobbles, cool, they didn't half get stuck. When I was pulling it through the stitch, I had to sort of manipulate every bobble. If you gave it a tug, the yarn would really stretch out. So I certainly wouldn't recommend doing that bind off. I persevered for the neckband and the arms, as I say. When it came to the body, I just did a regular knitted bind off. Can you tell? Absolutely not. Again, because of the texture of the yarn, you really can't see what bind off I've done. It certainly doesn't look any neater for having that. I certainly wouldn't do it again. I would love to knit myself a cardigan in the boucle yarn, and I've bought the pattern by Shayna Billow for Chelsea Yarns. I think it's the Cozy Cardi. I have bought that pattern, and I took some yarn home. I was going to start it, but it's in pieces, and for some reason that puts me off. Not the knitting in pieces, the seaming, the constructing it back together. That bit intimidates me a little bit, because I think the finishing of a product or a garment can make all the difference, can't it? Anyway, that's that. Mum hasn't seen it yet, she's no idea. That's nice, I'm glad to have that finished. After I finished that one, I was just kind of flip-flopping all over the place. I started a jumper for me, ripped it out, I realised I'd done the wrong stitch count, ripped that out. I started another thing. Oh, I started a birds of a feather shawl, which I've admired greatly since it was first published some years ago now. But I started it. I didn't like the fabric. I didn't like the gauge of the mohair section. I know that's supposed to be much open gauge and much looser, but I didn't like it. So I put that away. I ripped that out, put that away. Yeah, I've just been a bit flip-floppy after that. I don't know about you, but what do you do when you sort of can't get your teeth sunk into a project? Well, for me, it's always a sock. So I got a Halloween sock. Now you might think that I'm doing really well and being proper with the season, but no, I started this last Halloween. last Halloween, this was our Witch's Stocking mini skein set. We had these main colours, which were, this one was, I think, Winifred, one of the Hocus Pocus, one of the Sanderson sisters. And we had some tonals. This one's Maleficent, Wicked Witch of the West. There's all sorts. And just lots of bright neons. And I'd got to the heel last year and then put it away. It's never been picked up since. So I've done the heel flap, obviously. I've just worked down the foot and I'm just about to pop in the heel, toe in black. These will be for my dad. This is the second sock, so I'll give these to Dad. He likes all these bright, obnoxious colours. Oh, bless him. I say that, he just likes hand knitted socks. He doesn't care if they're in baby pink or if they're in this or if they're just in plain black. He just loves them and he'll wear anything. We always used to joke with him that if we had any test skeins that were truly awful, we used to just make them into socks for Dad, and they were his his ugly socks, we used to call him. Another skein of ugly socks for Dad. He loves them. He was like, I don't know what's wrong with this. It's beautiful. I'd buy that. They were awful, some of them. But he's so knit worthy, bless him. I'm having to retrain him though on how to take his socks off. A few times I've caught him at home in the living room, and when he's trying to pull his socks on and off, he just flops them like this on the carpet, his feet. I said, oh my days, Dad, you're going to what's it all the bottom of your socks? He said, oh well, you'll just make me some more, won't you? And I will. So yeah, I've just got the toe to finish on that. Can't think why I've stopped. There's a reason. Oh, I've got a tink back. I think I'm doing sort of the whirlwind toe, the umbrella toe, and I think I started decreasing for a 72 stitch, and I started decreasing for a 64, but for some reason, well, I've obviously done it after the gusset pickup, I've only got 60 stitches on my needles. So when I've done the decreases, I've ended up with an odd number, and it's just thrown the whole count out. So I'm tinking back to get back to the red, pinky red there, and then I'll start again. I had no idea that I've obviously miscounted, and as I've gone down the gusset decrease, I've decreased. What was that? Oh, sorry. Anyway, there we go. I've finished another sock. Just the first sock. I haven't cast the second one on yet. I might do that this afternoon. This one. Isn't it lovely? I like this one. I like it a lot. This is in our Jack Frost colourway. We're at work. We're in the middle of. We've launched all our autumn colours for the year, and we're now dyeing and prepping Christmas and seasonal ones ready for a shop update this Friday, and this set is in that update. So it's our Jack Frost Dinky Skein set. So you get a 50-gram main skein and then 4 10-gram minis. And you know how I just love playing with stripes, and yeah, really pleased with that. That was the first set. I want to do, we've got, how many have I got here to show you today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we've got another 2 or 3 in the dye pots, another one as well here. We've got a few more in the dye pan today. So I think we're going to have about 10 of these sets. I honestly want to do them all. Yeah, I love this colour. We've had this colour for years, like literally years and years and years. It's just so popular. I just love it. Over on Instagram, I've been sharing photos this week of what we class as our seasonal colourways, but how they pair with some of our core collection, our colours that we always have in stock that aren't seasonal, that aren't holiday themed, Christmas themed or otherwise. and how you can turn what is a Christmas colour into a spring vibe if you pair it with the right colours, and how you can fade it and complement it with other colours that just totally change how you perceive it as being a holiday yarn, which I think is important really. We need to be able to, unless you want to just make a pair of Christmas socks, Halloween socks, that sort of thing, absolutely fine, and I know I certainly do, but sometimes we buy these skeins and think, oh, I'll only knit at that at Christmas, but if you ignore the name of the yarn and just look at the colour, you can actually make it into whatever you want, can't you? But that's that. So these will be in the shop this Friday at 7 o'clock. Shall I show you some of the others while we're talking about them? They're all 50 grams and they've all got 4 mini skeins with them. This one's always a popular one. We released this last year and we couldn't keep on top of it last year, so we've brought it back again this year. And it's Santa's Little Helper. And again, you get 50 grams and the 4 minis. This one again is a popular one, or it was last year. I don't know how it will be received this year. This is Vintage Bauble. So you get this multicoloured and then 4 minis. Elf Mail, I love this one too. I love the green, the spearmint minty blue green. It's Elf Mail and the 4 minis. That'll be a fun pair of socks, wouldn't it? This one's really pretty. See, this one could almost be an Easter, couldn't it? But this is our Naughty or Nice. So you get this peachy pink with speckles and then 4 complementing, they're not complimentary, you do have to pay. They're complementing mini skeins. But that's really pretty, I like that one. I like them all, I really do, I like them all. And then we're doing a candy cane. Ooh, look at them all together. Love that. Ooh. We're doing a candy cane set. Oh, this one's come unravelled. Never mind. I'll show you the minis. This is a sneak peek. These haven't been shown anyway. In fact, I don't even know if I've shown Nick. It's not unusual. So those are the minis. And then you'll get an undyed. See, I've wound this one up to cast on. And the recommended pattern for this is the one Kate Litton did last year with the candy cane stripes. In fact, I've got a couple of pattern ideas for this one. I shall, if I can put in some pictures here, I will. If not, I'll leave some links, or I'll talk about them more next week, because I've got, I'm using some new editing software and I'm not particularly au fait with it. But what I might do next week is spend some time sharing pattern recommendations and things like that as well. But yeah, I think that's going to be lovely. So that's that. What else have I been knitting on? What? Oh, it's my mum. I don't. She sends these really random. Does she or anybody else's? She sends totally random messages that don't mean anything, or I can't think what she's referring to. It's as if she forgets, or she assumes that I understand the first half of what's going on in her brain. Nobody else's mum do that. What else have I got? Oh, let me show you this, because I'm ever so excited about this. I just said that I cast on a jumper and then ripped it out and, you know, flip-flopped around a bit then. And the jumper I wanted to cast on again was another version of my striped jumper. You know, the one you've seen me wear before with the red stripes. And the original version, my friend and I, Sharon, were chatting away and we said, oh, should we have a little informal knit along and make this jumper ready for when she comes to one of our retreats in a few weeks, and then we can wear it. And I cast on in our, well, I wanted to do a jumper in our sugar cookie sock set, so it would be the main colour and then the sugar cookie stripes. But yeah, did it all wrong. And then we released a new colour for autumn, and I loved it. I've got the yarn here, I'll show you. Sweater Weather it's called. We named it because as soon as Nick showed it me out of the dye pot, he said, I've got a new favourite colour. And as soon as he showed me, I said, I want a jumper in that. And this is our Sweater Weather. We've got this in the shop at the minute on literally all bases, from boucle and sparkle and mohair, and this is DK, but I just love it. It's really rich and so I cast on. And I've done really well on it. We took a few days off, Nick and I, well a week actually, and for 3 days, apart from walk Jeff and play in the dog park, we did nothing but knit and watch Netflix, and it was marvellous. And within 3 days I'd split for the sleeves, which for me is like whoosh, quick as lightning. And here she is. Oh, I don't want to hold it up because on the screen the camera really picks out the intonation of colour, and it looks swirly, and it really isn't, and it bothers me when I see it on screen as swirly because it isn't. Look how it does. It look swirly to you, but it really doesn't. The yarn's beautiful. It's got shades of, well, you can see like greys and blues and orange and browns, purple. It's just beautiful. Every stitch sometimes is almost a different colour. So I've used the classic cozy raglan, same pattern as before, and as before I've added in my own little details. So I cast on and knit 1 row of the rib in this lilac colour. Then I added in some stripes. I've done these stripes slightly wider than I did my red ones. These are 7 rows, I think. Let's just count. 1, 2, 3, 6. 6 row stripes. And these 5 colours, like a lilac, a brown, a berry, coral, and then a deep purple, our forager colourway. And then I just knit, 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 until I got to the bottom. Found it. It was hiding in plain sight. Mum thinks I've hid her radio. They're at the caravan and she thinks I've hid it and I'm playing hide and seek, but I really haven't. I think I unplugged it, that was all. And then on the bottom rib here, I have done 2 colour fisherman's rib, again using that lilac colour as my accent. And then at the bottom I've just done another row of 1 by 1 rib and the binder. I do like doing that 2 colour fisherman's rib. Now that is a labour of love. It's not dissimilar to brioche in that you have to do 2 rounds to get a row effectively. So it's slow progress, especially when you've got a considerable amount of stitches like I do. But I like it. I like it a lot. Shall I try it on and show you? Let me take off my vest. I tried it on this morning. The binder, I say I've knit the body really quickly, and the bind off, the rib and the bind off, oh gosh, it was taking me days. I think it's taken me about 4 days to do that rib. Admittedly, I haven't had as much knitting time as I was before, but oh, it's been a slog. So I said to Nick last night, I'm not going to bed until I've finished it, and I didn't. I stayed up till 11:30. Yeah, really pleased with it. Let me sort myself out. There's my natural waist, obviously. Comes down. This isn't blocked. I've got a t-shirt underneath my blouse and my blouse, so it's quite form-fitting, but I'm okay with that. I really like it. So I've just got sleeves. I love the pops of colour. So just got the sleeves to do now. obviously I'm going to wear it. Quite like it as a vest like that, you know. If you just did some little, I don't know, if you just did an I-cord there, or even just a small bit of rib, I think it looks quite nice. I do love this pattern. I do still want to do my sugar cookie one, but I'm also thinking about doing a Felix. I've had the Felix jumper in my library for ages, and my friend Kat has knit one or two, I think, I'm not sure. Always looks lovely on her, really, really nice. So I'm quite fancying the Felix, and I have picked out some yarn. I've got this, look at this, it's DK Suri alpaca. I've dyed a DK skein in the same colour as this. I think a nice Aran weight jumper. But have you been watching Gaynor, Tales from Cuckoo Land? She's making the Felix cardigan, and I really fancy that. I do wear cardigans an awful lot, so it would work in my wardrobe fantastically. I just don't know if I've got the staying power for all that purling. But maybe I ought to do two. You know, have a cardigan on the go that is a bit more long term, and then another jumper that I can just pick up when I'm tired and just go round and round. But I like this colour. I think it would suit me as a cardigan. What do you think? I like it. Can you see how I'm flip-flopping even now? I don't know. Don't you think September went quickly? I seem to wake up on the 1st of September and go to bed on the 30th. It truly flew by. Which I think it always does, doesn't it? When, you know, when you go back to school, even when the children were little, once you go back to school and you get into that routine, you seem to blink and it's gone. That's how it felt this year. Really did feel that way. We've still been navigating things with Megan. She's really well, health-wise, she's really, really well. She was in a really unhealthy, toxic relationship for about a year. But of course she didn't see it for what it was. We all did, everybody else did. Even work did, because they worked together, and even work pulled her in the office and asked if everything was okay, and so everybody could see the toxicity, but Megan couldn't, which is so often the case, isn't it? And as is so often the case, she found that she was not isolated entirely from her family, but yeah, largely. We lost her for a while, you know, which was so hard, so hard. And I think I alluded at some point in the past that when Megan was in hospital, to have that gift of time together was such a blessing for me. And it was so I could work on her self-esteem again, and to rebuild her sense of self and her self-value, and to remind her of what her values are and have always been, and just work on her self-esteem and self-confidence, and it worked. And when she came out of hospital, she could see literally, because she'd lost her vision obviously, but yeah, she saw what was going on, and yeah, she left, and she's never looked back, which is just, as a mum, you know, oh, I can't put into words. It's been hard, but she's thriving now. She's back at college, doing her teaching assistant course, which is lovely. She was born to teach, that woman. She was born for that profession. She's back at the gym, which she's always enjoyed the gym, but she'd been told once too often that, you know, she looked fat and people would laugh at her, and she started to believe it. And so yeah, she's back at the gym and enjoying that again. She's socialising with her friends, and yeah, she's just thriving. I think it's taken its thing for Nick and I. We've just had to breathe. We're not very good at taking time off work, and I don't think any self-employed people are. I don't think that's exclusive to Nick and I. I think if you work for yourself, you don't work, you don't get paid, and you know what? It's a hard industry at the minute. I'm not going to lie. It's hard to be seen. It's hard to be present on Instagram. And I know for me, when I've got so many added external pressures than work, Instagram's the first thing I give up on, because I just don't have the headspace for it. But when your business is driven by that platform, it's really, really tricky, isn't it? So I've spent the last couple of weeks really working hard on building a newsletter website integration thing, and I did it, which I know to the tech savvy you're all rolling your eyes at me thinking, oh, for God's sake. But for me, that was massive. It was a huge deal to achieve that, and I felt incredibly proud that I did. So yeah, if you do want to sign up to that newsletter, it's taken me 6 years to send one, so I don't think you'll be bombarded with them, but there is a cheeky little discount code in there if you did want to have a sign up and have a look. But it's also a way, recently, was it Fulham Vine lost her Instagram account, didn't she, Kristen? And, she's got a huge Instagram following. But if I've been doing a course with our local council on social media and things, and she's the lady who's delivering the workshop. She said, how would you feel if you lost your Instagram account? What impact would that have on your business? I just felt sick, physically sick, because I don't know what we would do. It don't bear thinking about, and that's a really vulnerable position to be in, isn't it? Because if our account got hacked, or if, I don't know, Meta decided for whatever reason to block us, or I don't know what we'd do. So it was really important for me to get this newsletter up and going, so that I still had some communication with our customers. So we've had lots of things like that going on in the background, which has just needed a bit of time. Got another one here. Oh, I made this bag. This is my Mary Poppins project bag. This came about because I was emptying a project bag at home one day, and it was laughable. I had all sorts in this bag. I even had a crocheted cactus, and there was literally everything. And it was like pulling out of this Mary Poppins bag, and I just needed a hat stand and a light, a standard lamp. And it just made me really inspired. So I went on the hunt and found this. It's really thick upholstery, tapestry fabric, obviously a velvet bottom, because why wouldn't you? And I made myself a Mary Poppins carpet bag. Well, I made a few. There's a couple left in the shop. We took them to Yarndale and they were really, really well received there, but there's a couple left in the shop. In this bag, I've got 2 projects. Oh, dropped my fluff. 2 projects, because I took this bag to the caravan with me. Got a sock with all its ends. What's that fabric? Oh yeah. It's cute, isn't it? An autumnal sock. This was a set we did. It was in our autumn seasonal treasures box. This was the palette pack that came in it. But we liked it so much, we did some extras for in the shop. Sorry, I sound like I'm doing an infomercial here. I am sorry. I don't mean it to be that way, but I genuinely find joy in knitting with our yarn, and yeah, sorry, I just do. I knit with our yarn and that's that. Anyway, that's the sock. I'm about to put the heel in that. Haven't knit on that since I started my jumper though. The other project I started before I cast on my jumper was a Sophie shawl. I wanted a shawl that was more of a scarf, just a dead easy throw on, and I wanted to use the boucle, so I did. This is where I'm at. I'm knitting it with boucle and mohair together in the same colour. It's the same colourway, but obviously it looks so different on the different bases. Oh, there you can see that crinkly texture I was telling you about. You see? Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm about, I don't know, halfway of the increase section. I want to finish it because I want the object, because it's just going to be such an easy sort of wrap around. But my God, it's boring to knit. Really boring. I mean, I'm all for a mindless knit going round, round, round. And you know, I say that all the time. But I don't know, this is pretty boring. It's a 6-row repeat and you're just doing this, you know, anyway. But I do want it. I like it. So I'm not going to moan about it. Maybe I'll get back to that after I finish my jumper. Because it's definitely turned colder here now. Definitely turned cooler. Right, shove that back in there. That's it. That's all I've got to show you. I will leave it there and come back hopefully next week. I always say that though, don't I? There is a plan. The plan is to do it weekly, fortnightly, and we've put some new working habits in place that will hopefully allow me to have a bit more time to work on things and then have stuff to show you. That's the trouble. I feel I don't have anything to show you. What's that? Oh, my planner's falling off the wall. Better go and sort that. All right then, my friends. Thank you for chatting with me. Thank you for being patient of my ramblings and acknowledging that this is not a professional podcast. It's just a chat at the kitchen table with your friend. Until next time, I'll see you very soon.